If you struggle with your self-improvement, then you need to realize this. One day, you will die. Understanding and being aware about this simple and somewhat sad fact is necessary for your self-improvement journey. Hi, my name's Mike, and when I was 15, I thought that I had a lot of time to work on all my goals, to achieve everything I want, and all before turning 18. This year, I'm turning 21, and I feel like I wasted a lot of time. So I'm here to help you not to make the same mistake. You see, the problem is that when you are young, you don't feel like you're about to die. Well, hopefully you don't. But the thing is, you actually should feel that. Well, maybe not exactly like that, but in other words, it's useful to be aware of the fact that your time here is limited. That everything in your life will one day end. I've never been more productive in my life when I finally felt that I won't be able to live with my parents forever. Not just understand it, like obviously everybody understands that, but actually feeling it is completely different. It's like having an annoying piece of homework that you constantly delay. You keep delaying it, you think you'll do it later, but then you notice that you need to turn it in tomorrow. And that's when you actually start working hard on it. And this is especially true for young people under the age of 18, because you are young, you don't feel like you need to be in a hurry. And you're right, you don't need to be. But because you're not actively aware that this period of life will end soon, you don't feel motivated to act immediately. You might be tempted to delay the things you want to achieve, to think, oh well, I always have time to do it later, when in fact you may not have time to do it later and you must do it now. And so developing awareness about your own mortality will help you with that. This idea is widely known as memento mori, which translates from Latin as remember that you must die. The important part is that you should not fear death. Rather, you need to use the understanding of your mortality to amplify the fear of wasting your life. And the fear of wasting your life is the thing that will push you forward. It is somewhat similar to the fear of missing out, but in this case, it plays in your favor instead of working against you. There are two ways that you can increase the awareness of death. The first way is by creating a strong mental image, like through mindfulness practices. And the second way is by affecting your body physically, so by physical means. The second way is much more powerful, and if used correctly, it will turn you into absolute productivity machine. But let's talk about them in order. So as I said, the first way is creating a strong mental image. In other words, you either use meditation or journaling to amplify the awareness. One way you can do that is by asking yourself a simple question. What if I die right now? And then you either journal or meditate about it. It also works great as a gratitude practice too, but if you want to focus on amplifying your productivity, then you need to focus on what will you regret not doing. For instance, if I ask myself this question, I will probably regret not doing anything historically significant. So, in order to do something historically significant, I sit here and record these videos. You see, since I understand that my goal is pretty huge and I have limited time to achieve it, it directly leads to me being productive, recording those videos. So in a way, it's like reminding yourself what's actually important versus what's not that important and can probably be ignored. And that makes you want to stop procrastinating and makes you want to go and get that important stuff. So that was the first way, creating a strong mental image. This way is obviously very good. It works. However, it is not as strong because you're only working with your mental. The second way is much more powerful, because the second way is to implement physical habits that actually affect your body in a way to make you think that it's closer to death. And I know it might sound scary, like why would you want your body to think that it's close to death? But the reason why you want to do this is because when your body thinks it's close to death in a certain way, we'll talk about this later. When your body thinks it's close to death in a correct way, it gives you more energy to escape the situation. And this energy is exactly what you use to be productive. And so all of this is based on a simple fact. Your body starts to subconsciously understand that you are getting closer to death when you are getting limited in your physical needs, such as air, water, sleep, food, sex, comfort. That is the exact reason why you can sometimes hear some crazy stories about people doing something almost impossible on the verge of death. And that is the exact reason why people who grew up poor in a bad environment with less comfort than they would like to have are often so motivated. Now, and this part is very important. There must not be too much limitations of your physical needs. Otherwise, you will not get buffed. You will get unhealthy or maybe even worse, which we definitely don't want. Like obviously, if you limit the most important pillar of your physical needs, which is air, you will not survive that, so don't do that. The way you actually do this effectively and safely is by removing artificial stimulations and excessive comfort. For example, you can do the simple dopamine detox stuff, like removing video games, junk food, and most importantly, porn and masturbation. Because you need to remember one simple thing. Porn and masturbation are the worst thing for your work drive. Absolute worst. The second place isn't even close, because your brain does not differentiate between reality and what you see on the screen. And from evolutionary standpoint, if you bang so many women, then you are already very successful and you don't need more motivation, because giving you motivation costs your brain resources that otherwise could be spent on something else. Other ways to make you feel more uncomfortable and therefore make your brain think that you're close to death and therefore make it give you more energy are the things that make you uncomfortable physically in a safe way. Those are things like cold showers, running and physical exercises. The absolute most productive period of my life so far was the period when I was on complete nofap and did cold showers every single day. The reason why it works is because you're artificially tricking your brain into thinking that you're in danger, and that's why it gives you more energy so that you survive and reproduce. And because you're also nofap, your brain doesn't think that you're constantly reproducing. That's why this part is very important. And finally, remember this simple truth. You will never be as strong as when your life depends on it. That's exactly why limiting your comfort and adding controlled discomfort helps. And if you want to hear me yapping about more stuff like this, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Also, don't forget to join our Discord server for highly motivated, driven, and ambitious people. Link in the description. And I see you in my next video.